Hi guys, welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian. Today I want to talk about Uranus and his square with Saturn that's happening on the 24th or 5th or so of December, the third one and what began in February and June. And by the way, we'll play out next October as well in 2022. But October of 22 is a very mild or light version of this thing. It's kind of like they don't go partile. I want to talk about some of the ideas about what this means for the collective and what it has been meaning all year. I'm also going to talk about your sign and what it could mean for you. Now, when I do the all signs portion of the session, please make sure that you check your rising sign first. It will always be the most accurate. Then check your sun and moon just to top it all up. Sun is kind of good if you're born in the day and the moon at night, but you can kind of see when you do watch all of the signs for yourself that they all apply. I have a sun and moon in Aries, and so I listen to that as well as my Aquarius rising, or I research that. Check out my all signs bundle for 2022. It's so affordable. It's only $47 for 12 videos, 60 to 75 minutes each for every sign. Detailed forecast of 2022, but I have a teaser playlist here as well with about a little less than half an hour on each sign, so you might want to check that out too. Check out your sign for 22. Okay, so let's get going. Oh, and by the way, that bundle is $47 or each video is $14.97. You get it for only $10 or $33 if you sign up for my newsletter, Cosmic Moonshine, Swing Astrology News thing. Check the link below. As soon as you sign up, you get the discount code immediately emailed to you for all of the discounts for being a subscriber to my newsletter. All right, 30% discount reading with me. You get a free course that I normally sell for free on how to do annual perfection. So it's really worth joining my intimate-ish crew of people in my newsletter. There are about 750 subscribers right now. I've been doing it for about a year, every week, every Sunday. So I want to say, you can see that my hair, which is usually straight, is wavy. And this is a very interesting thing because I normally actually have wavy hair. I blow dry it for you guys. It looks like this after it air dries. So I'm thinking about this today because I'm thinking I didn't feel like doing anything with my hair. And that's Uranus, rebellion, freedom to do it my way. And just kind of checking out of any kind of straightening it out, right? Well, straightening is kind of Saturn, rigid structures, doing it like ironing it all out. And guess what? That's what's happening in the sky. We've been feeling it build since almost about the 11th or 12th of December. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter as we head to Christmas. Now, want to say a couple of things about the big picture, because this was going on in February and going on in June. And anytime you have this kind of rebellion and individualism and freedom of Saturn, and you've got the structure, of Uranus and the structure of Saturn, you see all kinds of things like protests, okay? Uprisings. You also see erratic weather. Oh my God, have we all had erratic weather? And so look back in 1977 and 76, the same square energy was playing out. And this energy led to things like there were protests in the street in back in the day to do with gay prides and rights for gay people in San Francisco at the time in the United States. Back then there was crazy ass weather. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was the first time in recorded history, the coldest January in the United States in recorded history. The Mississippi River froze over. There was snow in Miami. I wrote these notes down and I'm like, oh, okay, I was alive then, but I forgot all about that stuff. And, so basically we had erratic, crazy ass weather. We had protests. We had restriction and control from the government going on with freedom loving, rebellious and riots and breakthroughs. And, when we had things like the Breonna Taylor and, riots or the Floyd George riots, we were having things that had to do with this kind of, we've had enough, we're fed up, and the protests were happening against the restrictions or the controls or even sometimes the laws we don't want, gun laws and stuff like that. So lack of gun laws. So basically, you can feel this stuff playing out all year. So expect around Christmas it to build up to a new tension. Now, maybe this time around it's more of the pandemic tension, because now that they're locking down with new rules and more vaccine passports demanding people get boosters, and there's a lot of pushback by a very tired populace. Oh, by the way, some people are saying, well, South Africa says Omicron is mild and no one's dying from it really. And so why are we all having to take this kind of lockdown? Or you have pushback with Joe Biden's legislation in the United States that private companies have to have all their vaccinated employees mandated, and right now in the courts there is a pause on that because it's being ruled on and it probably won't pass. So there's this kind of pressure to break away from totalitarian authoritarian control of governments over the people. This energy of Uranus and Taurus, it did happen when there was the rise of totalitarian governments like Mussolini, okay, and Hitler. Fascism and totalitarianism and authoritarianism and Stalin were all co-present with this Uranus-Taurus transit back in the 1930s. So Uranus and Taurus tends to produce stuff like this anyway, including food supply chain shortages. Think back to the Dust Bowl of the 1930s and the Great Depression. So Uranus and Taurus disrupts currencies and monetary systems and banking and stuff like that. And with the pressure square from Saturn, this is a real combustible story till the end of this year into already really October, first 3 weeks of October 22. Saturn and Uranus are in that square again from Taurus and Aquarius. And they're moving toward each other because the square is kind of applying as Uranus is retrograding and everything else. So I want to say that, though, I think by the time we get to the time we get to March, April, we'll see that this tension will be significantly waning, and this kind of narrative of the divisive explosivity will be on the way out. We may have to mend fences with bridges we burned with people that we argued with because they didn't believe what we believed. They didn't stick with the program. I mean, if I use one example, there's the anti-vaxxers Uranian, and there's the, like, everyone needs to get vaccinated. If you don't, you're a menace to the public and an asshole. We follow the rules, Saturn. Those two are just one example of what has been going on in 2021, where those never the twain shall meet, and at the end of it all, they'll have to meet again and forgive their family and move back into a relationship. And guess what? Nobody was right. It'll turn out nobody was right. The anti-vaxxers weren't perfectly right, and the vaxxers weren't right. Nobody was right. That's another story for another video, because that has to do with something else that's going on in the sky. But let's move on. So the other thing I want to say is that when you think about things that are really rule breaking, like I'm going to break the rules, that is totally outside the box stuff. That is totally Uranian. And Uranus, like, think of the GameStop thing that happened, you know, when a bunch of people played the markets by all investing in a flagging stock called GameStop, and it totally turned into this hot thing. That's totally Uranian. Or even Elon Musk disrupting the crypto markets with his tweets and stuff like that, you know. Uranus is the inventive and the brand new and the outside the box energy and the scientific, mad scientist genius energy, artificial intelligence energy. And now that we're talking about augmented reality and the metaverse, I think Uranus and Taurus is, how do you bring down to earth this possible really crazy ass, futuristic Uranian energy? And where it seems to be going is things like augmented reality and virtual reality stuff, especially as Jupiter will join Neptune in Pisces next year. And then later on, way down the pipeline, guys, like in 2025 and 23, 25 and stuff like that, we're going to end up with a lot of Saturn. Well, Saturn will finally in 2023 enter Pisces, where Neptune sits. And that energy can be bringing form and structure, law and regulation to fantastical realms, like augmented reality. All right. Anything else I want to say? I love this author. What's her name? I went looking for some data about the ancient history of this energy we're dealing with now. And I found this lovely woman, Whitney Will, Whitney Will, W-I-I-L, and her website. I'm going to give her a shout out. She's got some great material here. Is a Sopris Sun, S-O-P-R-I-S, Sopris Sun, and S-O-P-R-I-S-S. I'll stick it in the link below. Anyway, she did a lot of digging, and she went back to look at 1522 to 23, which is the last time we had a square between Saturn and Uranus. It was what we call a waning square. And so that is a type of relationship of these two planets in their synodic cycle. And what she came up with, I thought, was really fascinating. That was the beginning of the Protestant Reformation, because Martin Luther translated the Latin Bible into German, and it led to all kinds of rebellion and protests and uprisings, and it was a destruction of a politically imperial quality of the Catholic Church that held all of the power, because only the priests could read it, and the commoner peasants could not read the Bible. And it took the power out of what was a dominant power structure, okay, the Pope, the Church, right, the Vatican, and put the power in the hands of the people. And so that whole thing makes me feel, of what way will Uranus square Saturn result in a waning square power returning to the people and being decentralized in some way. Also, there was a lot of earthquakes, crazy ass destructive earthquakes back in 1522. And a couple of them, one of the most destructive earthquake in Spanish history happened then. There was another one as well, mudslides and stuff. You know, erratic weather is this pattern. I would expect, I don't desire it, but probably some weather calamity is going to occur in December or into early January as a result of the last square in this February, June, and now this last square between Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. Now, that's a broad brushstroke. I hope you enjoyed that. I don't want to continue in that direction. I want to finish off with individual signs, and I'm going to go short. I'm losing the light. It's turning dark here now. It's 4 o'clock in Vancouver, Canada. I'm recording on December 18th, and I want to get this off to you guys before it's pitch black in here, and I don't have my lighting kit packed in my, it's in my car, and I'm in a house. So we have to do this before you don't see me talking with you. Maybe there's worst case scenario, I'll put some lights on in my house. Overhead lights, harsh, but better than nothing. Okay, so we're going to do all signs starting with Aries. I'm going to just talk about this as think about your whole year, guys. Don't just think about this Christmas, you know, when this happens again. Think about February and June and now. What is this pressure cooker of freedom and change and authenticity and originality and invention, Uranus, breaking something free for you where you might be stayed, stuck, status quo, energy, Saturn, and it's time to break out of some mold that you've been stuck in. And by the way, you can go back and check my longer discussion of this transit with another astrologer, Alex Stein. I think you'll really like it. And it's in my description box below. And I posted it about a month ago, getting ready for this time that we're now currently in. Alrighty, so hang on a sec while I get my own chart up on the back end of this. So as I tell you about it, I'm going to go quick. This is like a mini little reminder of this energy. I have done a lot of content sort of building up this stuff all year long. And so this is you know, we're going to go back into it, but it would help if I didn't have my calendar like going by minutes in the back end. Yeah, Lori, advancing by minutes, you'll never get where you need to go. Not minute by minute, really, hours by hours. Okay, now I fixed it. All right, Aries, sun, moon, rising sign, the tension, the dynamic tension between the stuck and the breaking through to the new, the old and the fresh. That needs to happen in your life. The freshness needs to come into your second house of earnings. Aries, sun, moon, and especially rising sign. You're toast, man. You are so ready to change up the way you make money. I can relate. I'm an Aries sun and moon. Yeah, I don't care if I made 6 figures last year. I also want to leverage something because not to brag or anything, but you know, I work really hard. I see a lot of clients. I do a lot of content creation. I'm almost 60. I can't keep this pace up. I don't want to be working this many hours this hard and stuff when I'm 60. And I'm not complaining. I'm so grateful. But I know that a lot of Aries will be redefining earnings and methods of making money because Uranus is refreshing your second house, and he'll be there for a few more years. Got there in 2019. Now, also, what he's doing there is breaking up things that are stuck in your values and your mores and how you value yourself, and also what your deeper connection to the ideas of voice and calling and vocation are. So he radically reform your vocational path. I'm going to go grab a light so that I don't go into the dark, into the darkness. Give me a minute and I'll get some light for us. I hope. Turning all the lights on. Dog sitting for a girlfriend. All right, this is not my house. That's better, but it's a great place for recording. It's a beautiful apartment. All right, so what else? So that's that. And then where it's stuck, okay, like, sort of stayed in gritty areas for you, areas of your life where you feel trapped and you need to change things, or you like it and it's stable, but it's not good for you, is in your social networks and friendships. 11th house things. You know, you may have had to let go, or you're being called over the course of 21, peaking out at the end of this year, to really release yourself from social groups and of belonging that no longer fit who you really are. And some of your social groups and will end anyway, just by the way this thing happens. You don't have to unplug, they'll unplug you. I've been unplugged from people, believe me. The other thing is that the 11th house is what you wish for, your aspirations, your dreams and hopes. And those are under renovation, because what you thought was the thing you wanted, with Saturn going through that part of your sky until March of 23, is being revised to put you in touch with more realistic and long lasting dreams and wishes. But Uranus is saying, but don't get stuck in old ground. And if you want to make some really fantastically great gains from your career, Uranus is in the rags and riches position in your second house, and your 11th house Saturn would support taking possession of great earnings in the rags to riches story from your career. But you need to like let go in some way of kind of like the field in which you have been operating with your social endeavors and social groups of acquaintances, and move into something that's less stagnant and more fresh. All right. I know my hair looks so frizzy in this light. No product, guys. In other words, this is what happens when you let your wavy hair with no Moroccan oil go wavy. Keep moving. Give me a sec. I'm tuning into you. Next sign, folk. So Taurus, sun, moon, rising sign. Well, hey guys, of course, Uranus is in your first house, breaking up, making you rebellious, freedom loving, fierce, independence, doing it your own way, coloring outside your box. You may change your hair, you may change your gender, I don't know. Uranus will do a lot of things like that. Also enervates your ascendant, makes you full of like, oh my gosh, I've got a lot of energy going on in my life going right through me. If your Taurus energy, or like if the degree of your ascendant or sun or moon in Taurus, I can speak English, is anywhere, in, let's say, between 9 and 13 degrees, we'll just kind of make it a broad brushstroke. Well, yeah, I say let's go between 9 and 14 degrees, sun, moon, or rising Taurus. You really feel this ongoing tension this year between Uranus in your first house, break free, and your 10th house, your career, your purpose, your calling, your reputation, with the high noon where people see you in the sky as, oh, that's what she's doing, that's who she is. This can be the house of the father. You may be breaking away from things your father thought you should do or is telling you to do, or bosses or people in authority are telling you to do. Saturn in the 10th can be a lot of pressure from somebody in a position of authority, and you're in a place of rebellion. Ultimately, while this is happening mostly like this year, you'll get a little bit of that next fall as well, as you wind down this tension between what's expected of you in your career or reputation and what you want to do as a freedom loving, fierce, break through the rules and energy. So I've been seeing a bit of that in my Taurus daughter already, as she defines what she wants in life, besides what she thought she should get in life because of indoctrination from patriarchal forces in her life. Just things that the family system might have valued up her dad's line. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. So you're having this energy of your breakthrough and your freedom and your rebellion all year. And don't forget, this doesn't culminate to the end of next year, really, as it wanes and winds down in your 12th house. Now, this is a subtle place. It could be very much about having electrifying dreams at night, or, oh my God, huge realizations, almost like enlightenment breakthroughs or shifts of understanding. I swear, people with Uranus in the 12th house, they download the, free energy formula, or they figure out, how to create a wormhole to another planet. Like, this is where you get this huge ability to crack through the ordinary reality, break out of the matrix, and bring something back from humanity from wherever you've gone. So, or for yourself, really. Uranus is disrupting as well yourself and doing self-sabotage addictions as well, you Gemini folk. And he's been doing that since 2019, but in this year's square to Saturn, okay, well, Saturn, Mr. Stodgy, all-purpose, everything should stay the way it is been moving through your 9th house. Now, your 9th house is a house of God and truth and spirituality and religion. Some of you might be busting out of religious straitjackets. Some of you might be breaking away from the church. Some of you might be breaking away from authoritarian systems of philosophy or belief. You almost might have to break away as well from things to do with higher education, colleges and campuses. If it's not working for you anymore, it's time to let go. Saturn there could be breaking out of a course of education that doesn't fit who you are, and you realize that through a dream at night. So there's a lot of like electrified energy saying, get away from the stagnant energy of the 9th house and break free to something new. Your life philosophy is trying to change. How you see the nature of God, truth, reality, and life is all up for grabs. You're really shifting it now. I'm looking at my hair and going, it's getting big. It was still kind of wet when we started. It's getting really big and frizzy. Sorry, like it's all about my hair today. It's like, okay. Some of the guys are gonna make some funny comments. I like that they got rid of the dislike button now. I mean, I think I'm supposed to find my dislikes in the back end of the software, but I hated when people didn't like it and they didn't tell me why. I don't care if you don't like it. Just tell me what you don't like. For frick's sakes. All right. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. You're gonna get the breaking through the straitjackets of your life and the ways things are stuck. Thank you, Uranus, for the breakthrough. As difficult as it feels sometimes. The Uranian impulse of Taurus is breaking through any of your old dreams and hopes and wishes that may have no longer work for you, because you're coming with brand new, fresh, outside the box, super inventive ways of designing your future plans for your life, your 11th house, and maybe creating money from your career through internet sources. That could be Uranus in the 11th. And you may have a desire to like completely jolt into new Uranian communities and get rid of the old. That would be like super woo community. So my sister Nancy is a Cancer rising, and she was a nurse, allopathic nurse for years, but Uranus in her 11th house, she's gone deep into Uranian stuff like Reiki healing master level stuff and become a healer. So that's been what she's been up to as Uranus hit her 11th house. So if you listening here, Cancers, think of it your own way, but you're really radically redefining what you dream for and want for your life. And then you're going to find that the energy that got stuck is trying to break away is 8th house money stuff. So 8th house money is like your inheritances, your spousal money, your co-shared money with a business partner or a spouse. It's also the place of where we want to build wealth there, ideally, because it's where we can get leverage and residual money rather than paycheck to paycheck. But Saturn is sober-mindedly moving through there until the March of 23 for you guys who Cancers. And you're trying to, I think Uranus is trying to give you great career gains that are outside the box and get you away from like just resting on some financial laurels, like my pension plan or my spousal money or my alimony money, right? Yes, it's safe there, but it's stagnant for you. So you're breaking out of that, as well as any constructs around occult mysteries and wisdom traditions like tarot, magic, hermetic arts. Saturn there may actually pull you into that, but you'd be looking for a tradition or a discipline that you would work with, and Uranus would help you make money from that and your great gains career house energy. Or you could join a society of astrologers or a club of alchemists or something like that. Leo, sun, moon, rising sign. So, straitjacket, breakthrough, get out of the stuck place. Okay. So your career is where things are lighting up. Uranus is like, get me out of here into something new. And so what he wants you to do is find inventive, freedom loving, new, fresh, radical career change energy. And Uranus is a change maker and a great awakener. He's only, in the first decan really of, up to 14 degrees of Taurus in your 10th house. So he's got I think he doesn't leave until 2025, your 10th house. He got there in earnest in 2019, tiptoed in 2018. So this career, life purpose, action and expression in the world, how people see you is changing. With Uranus in your 10th, a lot of jobs will go by the wayside. You'll quit careers or careers will quit you. You'll see what I mean. But this year in particular has been gritty, as you have been in a push and pull or a tug of war between Saturn in your relationship with your business partners, your spouse, or your clients, and this tension in your 10th house. It's like duty and responsibility and obligation to other has been at odds with a desire for radical reinvention and freedom in your career. So pay attention to how that might show up around Christmas time, and of course as it wanes in October of 22. And this story, as I mentioned earlier, began in February and June of 2021. All right, how's my light? It's getting weird. I'm getting the shadows now. Oh, this is not a lighting kit. This is an overhead lighting in someone's kitchen. Oh wait, I see some more lights in the kitchen I can turn on. All right. Not that I care, really. Do I need good lighting? Oh, I guess so, but whatever. Let's put more lights on for me. Okay. How come the kitchen lights aren't going? What am I doing wrong? Oh, there we go. Found them. Oh, it's really glary. Okay, just live with it. So what else? That's it. I was moving to the next sign, Virgo. So Virgo, let me find you. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Especially rising sign, guys. Remember that. You guys have this energy of Uranus, right? In your, I mean, ninth house of higher education, foreign lands, your beliefs about life, can be the house of the father in Vedic astrology. Now, you may be trying to break away from the patriarchal and religious structures that you may have been indoctrinated in, Virgo, but you also may be breaking free of other ninth house things. One of the ninth house things is foreign lands. And I have a Virgo girlfriend who's traveling all over the world, breaking free, exploring. What this Uranus went into her ninth house in 2019. For all I know, she's going to move to a foreign land. Uranus is kind of getting her all jacked up on foreign land energy. My daughter is a Virgo rising. She has had breaking out of the shackles of her higher education at university to find out what she really wants, what kind of education she wants. She's breaking rules by changing schools and stuff like that, changing majors. So you'll see that you're going to break out of structures that are there. There's nothing wrong with your religion, your spiritual tradition, your foreign country travel, or your higher education, but this is really good breakthrough energy. And if you're a writer, because a lot of Virgo risings are, this is electrifying your house of book publishing. So this is really good for sudden positive developments here in general. But with your Saturn in the square, Saturn is like, Saturn is going through your house of work and work routines. But I mean, it's kind of like Saturn in the sixth house for you is like Saturn is working hard in a house that's about working hard. So this is working hard on your health, working hard on your daily routines, working hard on your work ethic and protocols, working hard or feeling constrained in your work because you're working so hard, whether it's in a colleague, co-worker situation, or just you're working on your own. This is like can feel burdensome, the amount of hard work you're under and you're doing. Whereas Uranus is trying to say, freedom, let's go on a trip to a foreign land. Freedom, let's change my major. Freedom, let's do this renovation of my mystical beliefs. So there's a push and a pull between the hard work and the freedom loving Uranus in the ninth house. I think the ultimate resolution of this is something to do with finding a way that your work is meaningful, because ultimately the ninth house is dharma. What's the call or the path we're here to walk? And if you can find that meaning and the super meaningful sort of my unique skills and path are aligned, then you're going to find yourself moving into greater peace around the whole pressure cooker of responsibility and duty at work versus freedom and exhilaration in that ninth house. Libra, sun, moon, rising sign. So what happens here for you guys is that you have this urge for freedom, rebellion, and rule breaking, and just cutting out of the box that could hold you back in your Taurus house, which is a money house. So the money of your eighth house is your mortgages and bank loans and tax rebates and spousal money and inheritance money and retirement monies and stuff like that. So with Uranus here, you can have some bolts of change there that you need because you've been like somehow missing the boat in that part of the sky. Now Uranus is awakening it, bringing it to light. So, book royalty income, passive income, leveraging your money, buying real estate, I think, is often very eighth house because it trines the fourth house and you need to get bank loans and stuff to do it. And I find that those houses often connect. So a lot of you Libra people may have invested in real estate, buying and selling. I know a Libra girlfriend has just done that. I got the hiccups, I'm sorry. And then Saturn is in the house of joy, fun, play, pleasure, romance, and sexuality, and inspiration and the muse. Write a book, do a painting and stuff. I find that Saturn there makes you work hard if you're creative, like you're really digging in to write that book or create that song or something. You're trying to create legacy, lasting works that have value. You might be creating a body of work, but also Saturn in the fifth house makes fun tiresome. It's burdening. It's almost like fun is burdensome. Like, where do you find the fun anymore? I'm going to be there till March 23, you poor Libras. But there's also something about that fifth house that's stuck, right? Because Uranus is trying to poke Saturn. So are you stuck with a certain romantic story about yourself? Or is there some kind of thing you have where play has to come after too much hard work? I mean, what ways is Saturn compressing and restricting the vitality and the joy and the spark of life within you right now. Are you feeling dispirited or inspired? A lot of Saturn in the 5th house, people feel dispirited. Your children are the 5th house. Are they weighing on you? Are your kids causing you to feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders? Saturn is, can do that when he goes through the house of children. And, you can break that free of that, according to Uranus, by investing in like some Bitcoin and having $1 million and hiring a nanny. I don't know, making stuff up. But Uranus is in the house of speculation and stock markets as well. You could have one stock that does really well and gives you a little more freedom, but don't follow that as my advice. Obviously, I think there's a stock market correction coming. What I'm saying is that hopefully sometime in the past you bought something that's going to take off. Oh, I should also say for Libra, secrets get spilled when Uranus goes in the 8th house. So some spilling of secrets can be expected around Christmas on the 3rd pass, if there's any left after this year's hubbubaloo. Family secrets especially, hidden family secrets. All right. Scorpio, sun, moon, rising sign for you guys. You have the energy of Saturn sitting in your 4th house of real estate, home, your home life, your domestic private life, your downtime may have felt burdensome and hard worky, or you may feel tired or stuck, or you may feel safe but stuck, like you like your home, or you like the way your home life, domestic life works, but it may be impairing you. And Uranus wants to break through to freedom. The freedom is in primary significant love life stuff, like committed partnerships, business and love, like marriage partners, business partners. Uranus is trying to bring you outside the box agreements. I often see Uranus in the 7th house of marriage for people who are going through like a polyamory experiment. You're giving your partner more freedom. They want to give you more freedom. You get Uranian business partners right now, which can be people dealing with technology or the internet. But all of this is happening in the square to Saturn in your home life. And there's this push-pull to something that feels burdensome in the home, and Uranus, who wants a lot more fun and freedom in your marriage and love and business partners. Some of you, this could break you free by the end of 22 to do with things like divesting of a home, selling a home, sudden rapid relief of real estate that it felt heavy for you, like selling or moving or something like that. I mean, honestly, Saturn in your 4th house can mean you're getting tired of, weary of, or no longer liking where you live, or there's something heavy about it, like they diagnosed mold in your walls and now you have to deal with it. I have 2 Scorpios with whom statements like that apply. And they're looking for freedom and exhilaration, and from a home that no longer keeps them feeling refreshed and good about their home, right? Saturn is a downer raining on the home parade. All right, a Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. You have this, freedom loving, crash the gates energy of Uranus, lightning bolts of change happening in your 6th house of health and work protocols, and your office and coworker space. So if you don't work somewhere with coworkers, because Uranus will disrupt that, maybe change it, or change the staff, or change the company, then you're finding that your own routines need to be electrified and changed, and they need to go towards freedom loving stuff like digital nomad life. I got my career because a hub laptop will work, or I need to find inventive and non-ordinary ways to work that really work for me. And your health is all Uranianized, so go to your Reiki healer, go to your woo person. That's definitely Uranus in the 6th house of health protocols. Don't stick with the tried and true. Go super out there. Now, with all that said, Saturn in your 3rd house squaring that is that you're feeling a little bogged down by your siblings or your aunts, uncles, and cousins, or your local neighborhood. Like you don't really dig it anymore. That coffee shop is worn out, that bar doesn't appeal to you. Things in the local environment are wearisome. And so Saturn will likely, with the help of Uranus, be helping you. Uranus is going to break up that stagnation. And maybe by the end of next year, you're going to significantly change your neighborhood or your approach to your neighborhood. If you do it, maybe through work-related stuff. Saturn in the 6th square, Saturn in the 3rd square, Uranus in the 6th could be because of work changes, your neighborhood can change as well. Anything else I'd say about that? Sibling Saturn, sibling can pass, sibling can have a health issue, or sibling can just be a pain in the butt. So if you have a sibling you have unresolved stuff with, you're going to try to resolve it at Christmas, happy Christmas, and by the end of next year, especially in October of next year. And honestly, with Saturn square Uranus, you could have a sudden break with a sibling, like you disinherit them, disown them, disconnect. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. The energy of what you need to change, break free, and have freedom and new freshness to is your freaking love life, your sex life. What's going on, guys? Or with your children. But it's, you know, so if you're Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, and you want to have a child, Uranus, unexpected pregnancies can happen. So be careful in your 5th house. But also, this energy is like you want to have an outside the box, freedom loving, inventive love life, sex life, romance partner, whatever. You're looking for that like crazy ass, you know, let's do it. Let's do polyamory. Let's do, you know, whatever you want to do. And you want to be inspired and you want to have crazy freedom and inspiration and play and fun with your wild outside the box creativity, artistry, and sex life. And then you've got this squashy restriction of Saturn from the practical resources and money house, the 2nd house. Now, honestly, it could be as simple as you really want to break out of the box when it comes to romance, but you're being practical and resourceful around how you express yourself, because speech is the 2nd house. You don't want to tell your partner that you are, you know, bisexual or that you're into kink or something. So something's been going through your whole sky, but I'd say there's a discontent that really germinates from you're not speaking your truth or owning your voice, with Saturn squashing your vocal cords a bit, restricting your speech. And, you know, that'll play out until March of 23. So you have an option in 22 by fall of 22, 23, and also now to like speak up and be true to what you want or need, what you value in a relationship to romance, partnership, love, inspiration, and your children. Okay. Okay, here's me, Aquarius, sun, moon, rising sign. Ooh, I'm Aquarius, rising. So the energy of Taurus is in our house of real estate. It's called it's called a nomadic transit. It's very much a wanderer vibe. So a lot of people who are Aquarius rising will find that between, you know, 2019, 2025, they change their homes a lot. I can vouch for that already. Second of all, you're finding that the root of the chart energetically, because your root, the IC could be in another house, but the vibe of the 4th house being the bottom and the darkest of the sky, the darkest of the night, the root of your life, is under a huge sort of electric charge. You could discover crazy things about your ancestral line or family of origin that surprised you. Like I did my DNA test, you know, during this transit and found out that I have some really weird ass stuff like Lithuanian. Like I have Lithuanian in me. I'm like, I had no idea. Where's that Lithuanian ancestor? So you can find this kind of thing out, you know, like, oh, my family of origin, it's not everything I thought it was, you know, or my family of origin, you know, stuff, I'm breaking free of it. Everybody in my family of origin believes that, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, Lori. Well, I'm going to prove them wrong. Well, I'm going to make some money growing on a tree, you know, like you'll break away from like the structures and the shackles of your origin family stories and ancestral stories. Now, the Saturn repression is in your 1st house. And now for all of us Aquarius, the Saturn going through our 1st house is not a bad thing because he's our Lord, right? Lord Saturn, he's our Capricorn and Aquarians are ruled by Saturn. So we can trust him to bring us something good. Now, a positive thing about that transit is we've become more realistic and grounded and we adult our lives up. And we become very strategic and determined, and we'll get our body healthy through sheer determination, etc. Okay, then that's great. But this tension with Uranus is another story. So, you know, February, June, December 24th, 25th, and then by the end of next year, it's like, what ways are we rigidly holding on to an identity that doesn't serve us? And what breakthroughs in our identity can come by sheer dint of disconnection from ancestral stories and recognition and revelation about the ancestors, and maybe by change of location and home. And an example of that is I realized I had an aha that I'm carrying an ancestral story from a dream I had to do with my dad's mother. And it has to do with the side of the family. We had a couple of aspiring writers in my family. And I was a journalist and I haven't written short fiction, but I'm really digging into film writing and writing again. And it's breaking through this whole year of Saturn square Uranus from the house of the ancestors, where I recognize that I can't hold on to the old me that just says writing is a hobby, or I do it as a journalist or as a whatever, or blogger. It's going to be more of a calling. So you'll see when my first novel is a bestseller or my screenplay is produced. All right. And I can use my astrological knowledge to do things like to bring that into the content that I create. So it's not like it's an either or. Anything else I want to say? Nope. Let's move on to the last sign, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. So, hey, Pisces people, I'm going to try to make sure I don't cut you short because I always get tired near the end. But here's the big overhaul of this. You're definitely looking at breaking free of constrictions to do with your local neighborhood, your siblings, your aunts, uncles, and cousins, the online world, third house energies, maybe things to do with oracleship and divination. So this is an area where there's new freedom, there's new energy, there's new enlivenment. Yes, it's Taurian and fixed, but Uranus is breaking up things. He's breaking through stagnation and energy that's stuck. You know, you could parse it as, for some of you, you have to break through your neighborhood. Like it's like no longer the area where you're going to thrive. Time to change the hood. But also maybe the way you connect to your extended family of origin historically is changing as well. Now, certainly with Zoom calls, we've all connected with our sisters and siblings and everybody more by Zoom. So there's that. And this, transit of Uranus started in 2019 through that house part of your sky. In earnest, it did. Also, your house of writing and self-expression, especially writing for Pisces is the third house, and Uranus can give you electrifying new ideas, high concept ideas to write about, or germinate new ideas for how you want to express yourself online or in writing. Now, Saturn is squashing things a little bit in your 12th house, and Saturn would have you hold on to beliefs and self-doubt and self-defeating habits and patterns that you don't need anymore. Saturn is also the Lord of time and karma in a karmatic place in the sky, your 12th house. There's a lot of karmic house cleaning as Saturn goes through your 12th, and Uranus is breaking up the deadwood in your third. And I would say that you may find that things like finding an online teacher or guide or mentor, Saturn in the 12th and Uranus in the third, might be very productive. It has maybe already been productive for some of you Pisces during 21. My sister is one of those. She's being mentored by a shaman this year. So I would say there's that. But I mean, Saturn in the 12th, I went through this recently, 2.5 years. You're going to be a solo, nun, hermit, celibate, contemplative type energy as you ponder the deepest layers of your own soul. And you try to figure out the meaning of God, truth, and life. And it can lead to some enlightenment episodes, Saturn going through your 12th house. But with Uranus, the bolts of illumination that are trying to break through in 21 and again in October 22 may come from your siblings, may come from things you're doing online, may come through the local neighborhood area, or the third house is the house of the goddess in the ancient tradition. And so you find that oracles, diviners, crystal ball gazers are there. So consult the oracle. Some of your oracles can give you breakthrough insights into you and help relieve you of your karmic sludge and your self-defeating addictions, habits, and patterns. Okay, I'm signing off. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Please share my videos. Love you guys. Thanks for being a part of my small channel. I'm heading to the 3,000 subscriber mark. I've never been there before. I think I'm about 100 subscribers away. I'd love if I manage somehow to break through by the end of 2021. So please like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. And when I post a video, you hear about it right away. Okay, guys, have a great day and have a great Christmas as well.